Welcome to the UpLevel Your Future No More Hiding Summit. You will discover innovative talks for personal and business expansion with leading experts. Today, be ready to be infused with hope, strength, and confidence and find powerful direction to lead you on a path of success. Join our world-class speakers and experience inspiration, hope for your future, and an elevation of your desires. Inspired Choices Network, our summit hosts, are excited to have you here.
Okay. My name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy out of the Washington, D.C. area. I'm married to my wonderful wife, Katie, and we have 6 wonderful children, one of which, his name is Dominic. He was just born this, 2 days ago. And I have been lacking sleep. I have been lacking energy. The good news is that I am a extrovert, right? I love connecting with people. I love meeting people. I love building relationships, and I thrive off of the energy of others. My wife, she's different. She's an introvert, right? So she draws energy from kind of getting away from the people and being alone, and she recovers, right? For me, I love being around people. So I'm excited to be a part of this amazing conference here today. It's very exciting, and my biggest thing is in business and in life in general has been building relationships. So a bit about in a matter of a minute, my backstory is I have a background in sales. I'm a sales guy. I've been in the sales industry for a long time. I was a branch manager for Capital One, PNC Bank. I was in the life insurance space and sales and management. And then I was in the property and casualty space for Liberty Mutual and State Farm, corporate 9 to 5, suit and tie for a long time. And that was great until I got, tired of it. And then it wasn't so great. I kind of burned out from doing that so much, and I wanted more autonomy, less micromanagement. And I decided to go into the martial arts industry. I have a background in martial arts, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing. So I ended up working in the martial arts industry as a sales director. And I did really well there and made a lot of money, helped a lot of people make some good money too. And that kind of inspired me to start my own business. I have the Connected Leaders Academy and the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf. In 15 months, I was able to generate a 7-figure business and absolutely love what I do and never will look back. And entrepreneurship is certainly my path. Now, I tell you this backstory to tell you, not so much to impress you or anything. It's more to impress upon you that everything that I've been able to achieve in business so far, and this is just the beginning. By no means have I arrived. I consider myself a white belt at all times in business, is that there is tremendous power in building relationships, right? It's not so much just meeting people. There's a great friend of mine. His name is Daniel Andrews. And Daniel Andrews always says, Jose, it's not about networking. It's about building relationships that matter. I absolutely love that mantra. Stop networking and start building relationships that matter. And that resonates with me quite a bit because it's not so much about just meeting people, right? Gary Vaynerchuk talks about building relationships is not just a matter of saying hi to people and introducing yourself. It's about developing that relationship. It's about nurturing the relationship. It's about pouring into the relationship. Like a marriage, for example. A marriage is not 50-50. A marriage is 100-100. So with me and my wife, I give her 100% of what I have to bring to the table to make sure that she's happy, to pour into her. And she does the same thing for me. And that is power in relationships when it comes to a spouse or significant other. Same concept here when it comes to business. When it comes to growing in the professional realm, right? You have to understand that there's an art to building relationships in an effective manner. So I can attribute a lot of my success in business to the connections that I've made over time. And I've made many, many connections. When I say connections, I'm talking about not just connections in general, but also power connections. You have connections, and then you have power connections. You're going to go through about, I would venture to say, maybe somewhere between 8 to 12 connections to eventually meet that power connection that's going to blow up your business exponentially. So, and I'm going to go through today a string of some names to show you how one person led me to this person, that led me to another, and to another, and to another, that eventually led me to a power connection today. I'm just going to give you one example today, but what I want you to walk away with is understanding the importance of building relationships, the importance of reaching your hand out with a firm handshake, making proper eye contact with a smile, using the name of the individual you're talking to. A lot of these strategies and tips, these are basic one-on-one things, but most people don't do that, right? This is from the great book, what's this gentleman's name? How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. Amazing book, phenomenal book. If you haven't read that, read the book. And part of building relationships is understanding people. There's something called people skills. You got to develop interpersonal skills. You got to genuinely like people. You want to have a genuine interest in learning about others. Now, as you do this, I've talked about this many times. There's something called the FORM method, FORM, family, occupation, recreation, message. Now, if you know me or you've been in any of my circles or workshops or programs or courses or in my mastermind, I talked about this quite a bit because it's something that works. I've been working it for a long time, and it's something that you should know. FORM. So whenever you're building a relationship, an initial relationship, you're talking to somebody, you're trying to get their information, you want to recircle back with them and build that rapport and create that win-win opportunity. You got to get to know them. And part of getting to know somebody is this formula called FORM. First thing you want to talk about is their family. Are they married? Are they in a relationship? Do they have kids? Get to know that information. That's important because A, it shows that you care about them and you have an interest in learning about them, but B, everybody loves their family. So when they get to talk about their family to somebody they're just meeting, they're going to want to show off and talk about it, right? So then you want to move on to occupation. What do they do? What are they in a career, a 9-to-5, a corporate job? Are they do they have a side hustle, some kind of a business on the side? Are they full-time entrepreneur? What do they do? Get to know what they do. Are they passionate about what they do? What is their professional background? You know, where do they go to college? Do they have a degree in XYZ and that's their desire and their passion long term? Get to know their occupation, their professional background. And then you want to move into recreation. And recreation is more their hot button, right? What is their hot button? And the hot button could be they love rebuilding cars and almost like a fix and flip, right? They buy a junkyard car, they put a new engine in, they start rebuilding it from scratch, and they resell it, paint it, do the whole thing. Some people might have a real huge passion for fix and flips with houses, right? Maybe real estate investing is something they absolutely love, just the whole idea of looking for houses that are in foreclosure or whatever, and they want to get these houses and do it up from beginning to end, and then they want to, you know, resell it, whatever it is, or maybe hold and keep that rental property, the monthly income for rentals, whatever it is, right? It could be trading cards, football cards, right? Baseball cards. It could be moviegoers that just love to go watch movies and do reviews on movies. It could be something like martial arts, mixed martial arts, like myself, right? My spare non-productive time, I love mixed martial arts. I also love cigars. Maybe it's a cigar connoisseur. Maybe they enjoy craft beer. Maybe they're a wine connoisseur and they love going to different wineries and vineyards and learning all about wine. Find out what it is they love the most, and that's where you hang out. So if you were to spend maybe a 10-minute conversation, you would spend a little bit here, a little bit here, most of it on the recreation side, because the recreation side is what they enjoy talking about. And if you get somebody talking about something they're passionate about, guess what's going to happen? They're going to talk and talk and talk and talk, and they're going to absolutely love it. And guess who they associate that talk with? Guess who they associate those good feelings of, like, oh my, I love talking about this, with you, right? With you. And then, of course, the message at the end, and by the way, you want to connect yourself to that, you know, hot button that they have. So if they're talking about cars, then tell them everything you know about cars. Share that desire with them. Take a genuine interest. Ask them thought-provoking questions about that. Oh, tell me more about that. How does that work? As a matter of fact, my neighbor just bought this car and he was having this challenge. What are your thoughts on that? You know, but just hang out there by asking deeper diving questions, by showing an interest and a genuine interest. And maybe if you know something about that space, then you know, double down, triple down on that, right? So once you deliver that recreational conversation, then you go into the message. And the message is, by the way, I happen to have this company and we're always looking to expand it. I would absolutely love to connect with you maybe later and we can explore if there's any synergy, any potential win-win opportunities between us. I'm always looking to collaborate and see what's out there. So why don't you and I get together sometime? As a matter of fact, let's are you on Facebook? Are you on LinkedIn? Let's become friends right now really quick. And then you take a selfie picture with this person. And then you maybe get their phone number. And then what you do is in 24 hours, you send them a message, a DM, right? Direct message. Everybody does that these days. Send them a DM with the picture you took of them and say, hey, remember me? I had a great time talking to you about what we talked about, especially when you said X, right? And then you give them your calendar link and say, we should hop on a call. I'd love to revisit and explore further about what we talked about at the end. As I told you, I'm expanding my business. And based on what you do and what you said, I do see some collaboration here. I see some potential win-win here. We should reconnect. And that's it. If you're doing this all the time, and I recommend you do this 5 times a day, you should be talking to 5 new people every single day. People that you've never met, whether it's through DMs, whether it's through Facebook groups, whether it's through LinkedIn, whether it's through a local networking event, a BNI, a Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club, a summit, a conference, a webinar, an online event like this. It doesn't really matter where. You just want to be adding 5 new names, new prospects to your list. And when I say list, this is a list of people that you're going to look to serve, because you always have to serve first before you sell, right? And before you recruit, you always have to sell. I mean, you always have to serve, right? Serve first. I'll say it again, serve first. So you connect with this person and you say, hey, so tell me more about you, and genuinely care about this other person. Ask them, what made you start this business? What made you get into this career? Tell me more about where you are and where you want to be. Tell me what's holding you back from getting there. You know, is there anything that's missing? How can I serve you? How can I help you? Maybe I know somebody I can connect you to. Maybe I know a strategy, a technique that could be helpful. Maybe based on my experience and expertise and my background, I can give you some insights. You know, whatever it is, maybe you have a podcast or a show that you want to bring this person as a guest on to give them some more exposure. Maybe there's some overlap between what you do and what they do. And you can say, hey, we could become key referral partners, or maybe create a JV, joint venture together. Whatever it is, you know, but you have to serve first. And as you're doing that, then at some point you can talk about what you do and how this person will fit into your world and potentially become a client, right? And not all folks are going to become your clients. A lot of people you're going to talk to and you're going to meet along the way are just going to be people that you're going to serve. And you're going to find that out of 5 people that you meet, if you're meeting 5 people a day, I would venture to say 3 of those people that you met are not going to become a client. They're just going to be people that you served, that you supported, and that you had a great conversation. You built a friendship, a relationship, and something could come from that at some point. You don't know what that is. They might send you a referral. They might connect you to somebody one day. They might invite you to a networking event where you meet somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, I would have never met this person if it wasn't for that conversation I had with that person who invited me to this event. There's all kinds of things that can come from it. But out of 5 people, 3 of them are not going to do business with you, roughly, give or take, right? I'm just giving you rough numbers based on my experience. One of them is going to be a not now, but will do business with you. For sure, will do business with you on some level. And one of them will become your client. It happens all the time. But the key here is consistency in meeting new people. You have to genuinely care to meet more people. You have to genuinely love and want to meet people. And you have to have the courage, really, that's the better word I'm looking for. You have to have the courage to extend your arm, reach out your hand and shake hands and smile and talk to people. So many people are afraid of talking to people. I don't understand why. We're all human. We're all fallible. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. What are they going to think? I don't want to come across sleazy like I'm trying to sell them. Then don't. Just Talk to them because you care and because you want to learn about them and you want to see what synergy is there and you want to see how you can serve them. If you come in with that heart, you're never going to feel that way. Like you got to take a shower after you have a conversation with somebody because you feel sleazy to try to sell them. Don't, just don't. So I'm going to give you a quick story of a chain of people that I met that opened up the door to a power connection, right? This is just one line. If anybody knows network marketing out there, I'm giving you a network marketing example. Like when I say network marketing, some people call it pyramid schemes. I don't believe in that. I think that it's everybody's in a pyramid scheme, right? If you're an employee somewhere, guess what? There's a CEO. There's usually 2 or 3 higher level managers. There's a bunch of high level managers under that. There's a bunch of supervisors under that. And there's a bunch of employees under that. And what is the likelihood of the person below making more money than the person above, right? So all the way to the top. So that is a pyramid, right? So I'm not even going to get into that. That's a whole different conversation. I'm not here to talk about network marketing, but I am here to give you an example of network marketing in the business sense, right? So if you meet somebody, I would like to call it depth, right? So you're building depth, you're going down layers of people that you're meeting over time. And then there's width, and then there's depth, right? So if let's just say there's 5 people that I met, then there's 5 people in width, meaning across, left to right, 5 people. And then there's a depth. So I'm going to give you the depth example of one person that I met out of 5. So a long time ago, I met somebody named Salvador Jovel. Salvador Jovel, and I'm from Maryland, DC area. So this guy is a good friend of mine from high school. I met him, we became friends. He introduced me to somebody named, or doctors, 2 doctors, or married couple, doctors Leonard and Arlene George. God rest his soul. Dr. Leonard George passed away many, many years ago. He was a great friend of mine and a mentor and coach. His wife is still here with us with their 3 kids, and she's amazing. So I met them. They became amazing mentors and coaches. They recruited me into a business called Amway back when I was like 18 years old, right? And I'm 41 now, so you can do the math. And I joined that business, and they were coaching me and mentoring me, and they brainwashed me in positive ways on entrepreneurship, on the power of reading, the importance of personal development, the importance of building your network, right? And they say your network is your net worth. It's not what you know, it's who you know. There's so many, cliche statements we've all heard on the importance of having a powerful network and a big circle, right? So that's where I learned all that. And that's where I developed a lot of skill sets. And that's where I learned form back when I was 18 years old. And then from there, from Drs. Leonard and Arlene George, at some point I was introduced to Jack Wu. Jack Wu is a very successful entrepreneur in a company called Premier Financial Alliance in the life insurance business, which was another network marketing company, right? Kind of like Primerica, if anybody's heard of that. And I started working for them selling life insurance. And I did really well. I had a large team. I was making good money, and I enjoyed it. And then from there, I moved on. I met a guy named Nick Coquinos there. Nick Coquinos happens to be my best friend, and he was the best man at my wedding. I was the best man at his wedding. We've been best friends for a long time, right? And when I started working in the martial arts industry, I started working there through his family business. Amazing stuff. Now, so Nick, eventually through Nick, at some point, I met a gentleman by the name of Edward Reed, not the Ravens football player, but a guy named Ed Reed. And Ed Reed is a John Maxwell certified coach, and he's a keynote speaker, best-selling author, amazing guy in Poolsville, Maryland, who became a friend and mentor of mine. And that relationship took off. And he eventually introduced me to a guy named Eric G. Reed. Eric G. Reed, I believe, is out of the state of Georgia, also a John Maxwell guy. And I'm John Maxwell certified as well. So there's a lot of John Maxwell circles there. And I met Eric G. Reed, and we built a relationship, a great friendship, and I took some of his courses and programs, and he was kind of like a mentor for a little while as well. And then he introduced me to Melanie Ake from 50 and 50 podcast, right? And I believe she's out of Indiana. I'm pretty sure. And she was phenomenal. And she was guiding me and coaching me as well and telling me I should do this, and the other. She introduced me to a guy named Dennis LaRue. And Dennis LaRue is out of Texas, and he is just an amazing guy. He was also a coach and a mentor, and We were in a couple of masterminds together, and that relationship took off. And eventually through him, I met a guy named Dr. Oliver T. Reed. And Dr. Oliver T. Reed is a publisher out of Virginia. He's a great guy. And we hit it off and we became like brothers. And we're really close friends now. He's a part of many events and I'm always speaking on his stages. He speaks on my stages. He's also a member of the Connected Leaders Academy. And he's just a great guy. And guess what? He introduced me to a guy named Dr. Obam Bowen, which I met at one of his events, and he opened a bunch of doors. Me and Dr. Obam are great friends, and he opened a bunch of doors for me as well in business and mentorship. And I went to a couple of his masterminds and so on and so forth. And then from Dr. Obam, I met Ulrich Quick, who is a massive power connector, who knows tons of people. Ulrich Quick won first place in the Great American Speak Off competition with Grant Cardone. And that's a $30,000 contest, right? There's over 30,000 people that compete to be first place. He won first place. He was on the show The Doctors. He was on the he was a co-host of the show The Preachers on Fox, and so on and so forth. This guy is a mover and shaker, and he's opening a lot of doors for me in business now. And all of these people I met along the way played a major role in a lot of my success today. But I'm just giving you one line. This is out of 5 people. There's just one line that led all the way down to Ulrich Quick today. And that is the power. That is the power of networking. That is the power of building relationships. That is the power of extending your hand and reaching out to people and meeting people. It is so important. It can literally change your business. And I always say that every single year, you're going to meet one power connection. And if you're doing it right, every single year, you will meet at least one power connection, maybe more. I remember there was a year where I met 3, but at least 1 per year. And those are going to open up all kinds of doors. So get out there, meet people, build relationships. It is critical to your business. It is critical to life in general. All right. And again, Jose Escobar here with the Connected Leaders Academy. I have a large networking organization of entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs from all around the world, over 438 members in 46 states across the US and 23 countries. And guess what? That has developed and grown because of the relationships that I've built. I have built many relationships over time, and that is the power of what we're doing here. So your business will grow at the level of the relationships that you're building. I will say that one more time. Your business will grow at the level of the relationships that you're building. How many relationships are you building today? How many did you build yesterday? You're going to find that the growth of your business is directly aligned with the level of prospecting that you're doing on a regular basis. If you're not meeting new people, you're not adding people to your list, you're not developing these relationships and nurturing them, guess what? A dry season will come in your business. There's going to be a month, there's going to be a couple of weeks or a couple of months where nothing is happening. And you're like, why is this happening? Why is my business not growing the way I want it to grow? You're going to ask yourself that question. And I can assure you now that that is directly linked to the fact that at some point prior, somewhere between 30 to 90 days prior, you were not prospecting consistently. So stay in prospecting mode. Use the FORM method. Meet people. Put yourself in rooms, in person and virtually. Develop the habit of pouring into people, serving first, building relationships, connecting. And I assure you, if you do this consistently, and consistency with discipline is the key, it is inevitable that your business is going to grow exponentially. It's going to go to where you want it to go. I believe in you. You believe in you. Go out there and make it happen. And trust me, the growth of your business will be contingent upon the power connections that you meet along the way. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining this motivating talk on the UpLevel Your Future No More Hiding Summit. Inspired Choices Network and our expert speakers are excited to connect with you and learn about your hopes and desires to lead you to greater success. If you would like to learn more about everything Inspired Choices Network offers, including future summits, please email us at info@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.